Sports fans of all ages, it's our pleasure to present to you the newest name in Delaware sports and sports around the world, who's had absolutely no success in the real world, so he's dedicated his life to talking sports. He's known to be prickly and very opinionated. It's time to get in the huddle with your host, Coach Muddle.
Oh, my goodness, I can't catch a break. How's everybody doing?
Why can't you catch a break?
Because I kept hitting the stupid button. That's why I paused a couple of times because I couldn't move my finger. I don't know what the hell you
see. What happens when you run the board? You don't listen to me, man.
See what happens? You run the board, and you know that's I gotta get an intern involved.
Coach is like Danny Dimes, man. He just
the real Danny Dimes stepped up. He showed his true colors yesterday.
Oh, your name's Dan too. We'll call you Danny Nichols. Danny Nichols. Danny Nichols. We'll call you from now on.
Yeah, Mr. Nichols. You can call me Mr. Nichols. Thank you.
There you go.
Unbelievable.
I took a bath yesterday. I was happy because I at least, unlike Coach, I had a day off watching my team play, which, it's not as much frustrations with the team as the coach with me right now. But man, I had to go watch my bets and just talk about everything shit in the bed. And look, the Patriots game, that one just drives me nuts because I think I had the right side on that one. That was just bad luck. You know what I mean?
And I was just going to bring that up because you did talk about it. You guys talked about the line and how that game, bothered you guys a little bit. And I went, I'm watching the game and I'm like, holy crap, they were right. That was a game all the way. Obviously it goes into overtime and then they screw you scoring the touchdown and missing the penalty. But, but great insight from Nevada Nick on that game. Yeah. He doesn't win it, but the insight told you what was going to happen, and it happened. So.
And I can tell you this too: the Las Vegas got murdered on that game last night. A lot of Cowboy money. The Cowboys are now 6-0 against the spread, and you say, well, but they covered their first game. They lost against the Bucks, but they've covered, and then every game since they've covered. Like I've said, the Cowboys.
Wait, speaking about covering.
Yeah.
Let's
2 in a row. Here we go.
Let's go 2 in a row. Let's go, baby.
Stiz 2 in a row for the coach. Give Stiz his props. Stiz covers prop bet.
Actually,
I think that's 3 weeks in a row.
Stiz on a roll, but come on. I'm not the professional gambler like you two are. So Coach getting 2 in a row. Got off to a slow start.
Coach, you were going to take the Browns and you didn't because we both had it. I don't even know when you didn't want to look like you were jumping on our shoulder.
You're right. I didn't want to look like it's bad.
Yeah,
but thank you for doing that because, otherwise I would have been in the toilet with the rest of you. At least now I'm,
in the toilet with the rest of you. You were 0-4 to start, you loser, and now all of a sudden you think
hey, baby, I'm riding high, man. I got 2 in a row.
2-4? You're riding high.
It is.
If you were
no one cares about the 4. Everybody's on the 2-game win streak by Coach, baby. Winning's that elixir, man. It makes everything better.
Yeah, it's not Coach Muddle no more. It's Coach Meyer. That's what we're gonna start calling him.
Oh man, rolling with it. Let's now I'm gonna bring it 3-0. Get myself back.
Oh, you're done now. Now the work. Look, it's gambling. The last thing you can do is get arrogant.
I know. I touched the money. The money. I'm done. You're right.
Yeah, it's the truth, man.
I know. You
Stiz brought it up on Sunday where we had a guy, and all they needed was 1 point in cornhole, and he said, "Does my hair look good?" And Stiz knew it. I knew it. It was over. Just like I said the week before on Sunday, Stiz was texting somebody. I said, "Stiz, there's 37 seconds up. Just wait till the game's over." And he couldn't help himself, and. Stiz put the old Maloiks on him, so
That's right.
And Coach Muffle.
1-800 Muffle. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1-800-MUFFLE.
Now,
Speaking of which, it's a great segue there, Stiz, because I figured out how to get into this What's Up app. So it's hooked up to the show number, and so I don't know if people could reach us that way. I don't really know how that works, but I just thought that was a great segue when you put up the 1-800-Coach Muffle. We'll put it in.
That's not really the number, though, Coach. So
no, it's not really the number. The number's popping across the screen. I could put up the other number so that see, here's the real number. Call in line. Right. You can actually use the What's Up app to reach us anytime. So it's great.
Let's talk about a couple games yesterday. And the most impressive, obviously,
was the Rams.
No, because the Giants suck. To me, it was the Ravens. I've been down on the Ravens all year, and I tell you, man, that's a good Chargers team, and they just shut them down on defense and on offense. Going into it, I liked the Chargers. I did, but I was worried about the Chargers do not have a good run.
Travel. Yeah, but they don't travel well either from West Coast to East Coast.
No, you're right. No, but the run defense was bad, and look, the Ravens did run all over them. But it's one of those games, man. And look, the Ravens are 5-1 now. Cleveland's 3-3. Cleveland, too, let's be honest. Bad showing yesterday, a lot of mistakes. But when you're missing your top two tackles, I didn't know that. I don't think Stiz knew it either. I didn't know that yesterday morning, that both tackles were out. I knew Chubb was out, but, and then, obviously we knew Landry was out. But then OBJ gets hurt. Baker gets hurt. Baker ended up playing the rest of the game. But, man, once again, and me and you this year, Coach, bought into it with Cleveland.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we used to always be, with expectations with Cleveland, let's wait and see. But I thought they finally had the roster to do it. I really did. And it's still early. But, and obviously that's the Cardinals. So, but to me, Cardinals, Ravens, and, Rams, look good, obviously, too. But the story's the Cardinals and the Ravens yesterday. I mean, Cardinals now 6-0. And Stiz said too. Now you lose Kareem Hunt too, and Stiz, is Chubb out Thursday night? If you can update us on that, because they now play on a quick Thursday night.
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround for those guys.
Coach, you've always said about player safety, and you got a team like Cleveland coming in. Basically, they might as well take them to the game in an ambulance right now. I mean, with all the injuries, and it's and Anthony, me and Coach are with you 100%. I mean,
listen, though, he was in. The sideline reporter said he was in excruciating pain.
Oh no,
whatever he did, but but let's put it to it. OBJ is a cancer wherever he goes, and will be that way. And it's the Giants traded him at the right time because, as you see, his numbers have declined steadily since the injury.
Yeah.
He hasn't been able to stay on the field.
Right.
But and then the Giants, that's a whole other story. But it was supposed to be out next week, couple weeks. Okay. So Chubb's going to be out next couple weeks, he said.
Well, but you know what? To me, what's more important for them, Coach, and I think you'll agree, is getting those tackles healthy. Because I think with their line, you could put any running back there.
Right.
And Chubb and Hunt are unbelievable. Don't get me wrong. But if you got a line that can block, you can put any running back there, and they can get the job done. But, Coach, I think if we've learned anything, especially this year, and I think you'll agree, if you don't have a formidable quarterback, you're not going to be able to do anything in the
Who you tell?
I know. I mean, look at all the teams that are in the NFC. Cowboys are 5-1. You got Dak. Packers are 5-1. You got Aaron Rodgers. Tampa Bay's 5-1. You got Tom Brady. And then Cardinals are 6-0. You got Kyler. And then Stafford, look, trust me, the Lions, Dan Campbell had to come out and basically say, Jared Goff, you need to pick it up. And kudos to him because he's right. Like, coaches don't like calling their quarterbacks out. But if you look at the Lions, you can sit there and say they're 0-6. They've had a lot of close games that they've lost that if they had better quarterback play could have been wins. They could be 2-4 or 3-3 legitimately if Jared Goff did
a 61-yard field goal.
Yeah,
I mean,
and look at the difference in the Rams. Obviously with Stafford over Goff, just in that one change, the difference in that team. I mean,
No.
Rams are now a legit Super Bowl contender, and you put Goff back on the team, and I don't think they're 5-1. I think they're probably 500, Coach. And then obviously in the AFC, you got the Bills, Josh Allen, the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, and then
everybody else, really, everybody else.
Chargers
really
are good, and Raiders are 4-2, and they got Carr and Herbert who are playing well.
Yeah, but I still think that they're the elite. Those teams have to prove themselves. The Raiders, the Chargers, they're not playoff teams. They're not, they're not there yet. So they haven't proved it. They're still going to have to prove themselves. I think when you talk about the AFC, the elite, and look, how do you count out Patrick Mahomes?
No, I'm not.
But I'm just saying right now, as it sits, when you mention those teams 4-2,
right?
Hey, it's.
Well, you're not counting the Chiefs out in the AFC West. That's their the division. No matter what, they're only a game up. That division still goes through Kansas City. Right. They got to fix the defense. The thing is, though, yesterday, you beat Washington, but once again, 3 turnovers. But 3 turnovers in the first half. They got to clean those things up. Now, the defense played a little better, but a lot of defenses look better when you play the Washington football team this year. When they play the Chargers again, when they play the Raiders, is that defense going to be able to be formidable? And that's the question. And I think Mahomes, Coach, I think he feels so much pressure right now because of that defense that he's trying to do too much. He didn't need to do that yesterday. Yesterday, they just needed the Andy's got to run the ball and kind of change things. They don't need to be, how they like to be so flashy, the Chiefs. They got to be a little bit more boring, run the football and do some things. If you want to,
Anthony, I said that like 2 weeks ago, but I appreciate you jumping on my my bandwagon. I really appreciate that. So, but yes, he is the Carson Wentz. Hopefully the Giants get a new general manager. I mean, if I'm Dave Gettleman, last night I stayed until everybody left the building and I cleaned out my office because I didn't want anybody to know that I know I'm getting fired. So I cleaned out my office and I got like a little notebook and that's it sitting on my desk.
And look, going out the door, I mean, why they picked up the 5th-year option on Saquon, because now you got him on the books for $7 or $8 million next year. And, it was a big question mark. I mean, you knew it. He had a great rookie year, but he hasn't been able to play since. I don't know why you picked that up. I know you have this hope, but, I don't like it's like baseball with prospects, Coach. You know what I mean? I want to see it on the field, and availability, sometimes it can be your best ability sometimes, and Saquon hasn't been available. I mean, so, you don't want
some cap trouble for the next general manager. We really are in, with these big contracts. I mean, Nate Solder is going to come off the books. And now you got me started, but I don't know why Nate Solder is even playing, because Matt Pert is graded out better, and of course the first play of the game, Solder gets trucked and Danny Dimes gets a sack.
Right.
You take him out, Pert plays pretty well, and then you bring Solder back in. Oh, he had a hand issue. You know what, man? Put him on the sideline and leave him there. Well, I just don't understand.
They are dealing with some injuries, the Giants too.
The Giants are, and I don't buy.
Tony got hurt yesterday too, and I got to give him. He has looked better, but you didn't. It wasn't a position of need, and the Giants aren't in the position.
Right.
They needed.
You have too many holes to go and get another receiver. With that, and that's poor general manager. But my issue is, getting back to the player safety. You had a guy that was in concussion protocol. The game's over at halftime, and you trotted him back out there for the entire game. Yeah. It was out of hand.
Yeah.
What? So you can have the record that an NFL game never ended 38-11 before, and now you've done that. You're part of that. You scored 11 friggin' points.
I guess they want to say they can do something nobody else has done before.
I don't know, but what is the purpose of that? Let the kid rest his noggin. There's no purpose in that, and all he did was turn the ball over. The real Danny Dimes showed up, because again, we're and I don't want to hear, he never played with these receivers because all the injuries. I don't want to hear that. You played with them in practice every day. Yeah. Don't give me that.
The thing that I think's great, though, Coach, and this goes to college football too. It's wide open this year. I mean, now Georgia in college does look like the best team, but it was becoming so stale. Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State every year. Now all those teams have losses. And Georgia looks like the team. I think that's reinvigorated college a little bit. And I mean, the pros. Everybody always loves pro football, obviously, but you got all these young quarterbacks, and it's, to me, there's not one team in the NFL that I sit there and I say, I do think the Bills are the favorites, but it's close. You got to, to me, in the NFC, I think you got a team in every division that could possibly come out and win that NFC. I think the Cowboys could, and now they're probably on the bottom of my list of those teams.
Right.
I'd take the Packers, the Bucs, or the Rams or the Cardinals first, but still, the Cowboys are good, and they're making plays. I mean, offensively, they're legit, and to me, their biggest problem is McCarthy, because they need to keep running the ball because they can do it, and you don't want to ask Dak to do too much, because Dak, one thing too, Dak got hurt yesterday.
Yeah, he was in a boot after the game.
He was in a boot, and they can't lose Dak. They cannot lose Dak. What's going on, Jared?
What's up, Jared?
Pittsburgh found a way to win last night, but man, they almost got screwed late. Did you see what happened in that game?
No, I missed that game. I didn't.
So, end of the fourth quarter, Metcalf gets a catch and he fumbles, and they have no timeouts. And the guy that covered the fumble up, and the refs stopped to see if it was a catch, and the clock ran out, and they couldn't kick the field goal so they were down by 3. And like I said, he fumbled. So he fumbled inbounds with no timeouts. The guy had to jump on it. They hit him. There's like 8 seconds left. The receiver ran and the clock ran out. But the refs, they whistled above to see if it was a catch or a fumble, which was terrible. And ends up going to overtime. Pittsburgh wins. But, man, I saw a lot of bad officiating yesterday.
Yeah, I agree. You're right, Anthony. The Cowboys do. We'll see their true colors come in November and January.
And it's the truth. And look, I'm a professed, and I'm sure Coach will say it too, I'm a professed Cowboys hater. And look, they had a great team in the 90s, but come talk to me in January and February. Cowboys look good right now, but I want to see it in January or February, because we've seen it in the haven't seen it in a while, but those teams with Romo and Dak early on where, they were really good, and then you get to the second round.
Hold on.
The Giants took them out the one time.
Yep. Hold on here, Nick. Let's
Call
get
from Jared DiGirolamo.
All right, Jared. Let's get you on. Hello. Hey, you're in the Huddle, Coach Muddle. What's up, Jared?
Hey, guys. You're right, and Nick is right. That was a very ugly game last night. Yeah. I mean, the referee tried to screw us on that call, and the clock was at 0. There's no way this should not have gone in overtime. I mean, we played a good first half. Our defense was asleep in the second half, and we came back alive in the third overtime. It was like a tale of two halves in a way, however.
Right. Coach, Jared, I'll tell you, though, luckily you got T.J. Watt, who's just a stud. I mean, to me, he's one of the top 3 players overall in the NFL. Just a complete stud, T.J. Watt.
He is. I mean, he's starting to finally come together. It took him a while to get going, however, after the contract situation. But, sorry. For the last few weeks, I mean, he's starting to play up to his ability, and that's what we need. And now you got a bye week. You get some guys healthy, hopefully, and you go into Cleveland. And if you're Cleveland right now, you got to be shaking your head wondering, what else could happen to my season? I mean, I just lost Kareem Hunt. I lost Baker possibly this week. I mean, the Browns are in big, big trouble right now going into this week.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely, I agree with that. And I just want to throw this out there because, Geno Smith and Roethlisberger's stat line was almost identical.
Yeah.
By the way, it was very I'm just saying, Geno Smith, identical.
Yeah. But look, the one thing I'll say about Ben, it hasn't been pretty, but they got to get back to old school Steeler football. Obviously, it's not going to be Big Ben throwing it around the field anymore. You need to run the football, smash the ball with Najee, and Ben can still throw. It's just he's got no mobility anymore. I mean, you got to work on that defense, run the ball, and just try to have Ben make a couple plays a game because obviously I don't think they have another option at quarterback, and I don't think Haskins is the answer. Sorry, Coach. I think your best chances are with him.
I agree. I mean, I just think that you got to see what you have with him, and that's the issue. But
I want to
all right,
Jared,
we appreciate the call, buddy. We're rolling on
thanks,
here. I
Jared.
appreciate it, man. Thanks, buddy.
See you guys.
All right, good stuff from Jared, man. We appreciate it, man.
Jared knows his football too. He really does. Real knowledgeable about the whole league too.
Yeah, man. He brings a lot to the table, man.
I'll tell you though, Coach. Just think if Pittsburgh would have made the change from Big Ben. I mean, now look, they have some struggles on the offensive line too. But man, if you had a little bit of a better quarterback, maybe the Steelers can make a run because they have some talent on the outside. You know, if they would have got a Rodgers, or maybe they make the Stafford move, whomever it might be, maybe things are a little bit different in Pittsburgh.
Right. Absolutely. I agree. And, I'm sure. I don't know that the Seahawks are in that much trouble, Anthony. I mean, I'm not a Geno hater, man. I think he's a serviceable guy who could come in and he got to raw into the deal. I mean, when you go to the Jets, I mean, you're doomed from Jump Street.
Well, the one thing the first half was bad though. He's made some plays, but he is a backup. He's played well, but they miss Russ. Let's be honest. But I think
who is it? I mean, Russ is Russ. I mean, who's not going to miss him? But I mean, Geno does give you a serviceable amount to get you till he gets back. I mean,
the question is more about the Seahawks or the offensive line and the defense. That's the problems. Even when Russ is there, I just don't love the offensive line and the defense. Last year started bad. Carroll got him going towards the end of the year. We'll see what happens this year. I mean, yesterday it was better, but again, Pittsburgh's not a good offense. Just kind of like New England. I thought Bill Belichick, I think they got the reins on Mac Jones too much. I think they're holding him back. I understand he's a rookie QB and you don't want to see the mistakes. But, yesterday, and you see what happens. So they have the ball. It's 2nd and 10, and they delay a game. They go to 2nd and 15, and then he throws the pick six.
Right.
And the one play that they didn't trust him to make the right audible, so they call a timeout. I understand you want to protect your rookie QB, but you got to let him play a little bit too, Coach.
I agree with that. And you got lucky. He came back and threw it down the field. They got that touchdown right back. Basically, and
the Patriots are 2-4, and in my opinion, and I look, you got to question Belichick coaching wise a little bit late in the Cowboys game and in that Bucs game. A little bit better coaching, and they could be 4-2. I mean, the Patriots
first time they're 0-4 at home since '93.
Yep, yeah. Luckily, they got the Jets coming in, though, so they should win that game. Unless Wilson goes off again. He went off for 4 interceptions last time. So, obviously his last game he played really well. And, the Jets are coming off a bye. So, we will see. But it's going to be – you got an interesting game tonight. Bills versus Titans. And look, Coach, I said it yesterday – that Indianapolis was still going to make the playoffs, in my opinion. And people don't realize, but this is a big game for the Titans tonight because, the Titans are obviously 3-2. So if they lose tonight, they're 3-3 and got to play the Chiefs next week.
Right.
So another tough game. Colts starting to, get it going a little bit. They get Quentin Nelson back next week. I know the Colts beat Houston last week, but I'm telling you, look at the game the Colts did to the Ravens last week, and you saw what the Ravens are.
Right.
The Colts are a good team. They had a lot, they lost to the Rams. They had a tough schedule to start. I think you're going to see the Colts start climbing up those standings now. The Colts got a good line. They have a good roster. And Wentz is starting to play better, Coach. He really is. Watch that.
And coming from the guy who's hoping that happens because he wants that first-round pick from the Colts.
Well, I do.
Because really, honestly, I mean, if you're an Eagle fan, you want that because you want the first-round pick. Because let's be honest, I could see them shutting it down, if it gets out of hand.
Well, Coach, I think our bigger hope now is for that Miami pick because now they're 1-5, and you got to wonder Instead of the ageless wonder T.Y. Hook, he did look good, and he definitely, Carson hit him down the field, I think, on 2 nice passes yesterday. And maybe he just helps that receiver group as a whole. And look, Jonathan Taylor, big game yesterday. So they can get him going, Quentin Nelson back, the defense playing.
Right.
The Colts can be dangerous. But no, back to the Eagles, Coach. The Dolphins 1-5. That's
that big matchup in the Jags can't win in America. They got to go to London to get a win, but they got to win. Does that keep Urban Meyer's seat? Does that throw a little water on the seat a little bit?
I think it does. I think if they lost, Coach, because it redeemed a little bit. It gave that team something to build on a little bit, in the locker room with all the things going around there. Another loss. Man, like you said, it just would have made the seat hotter. I think it quals it down, but they still need to prove some things. I think the biggest thing, Coach, is going to be from now to the end of the year, you're going to want to see improvement with the team and especially improvement with Trevor Lawrence. If you see that, maybe Irvin keeps his job.
I'm okay with that. I don't think Urban is around next year. Either he's fired or he leaves. Because now, look, LSU now announced that Ed Orgeron is not going to come back. That's the SEC. So there's some big time jobs open in college.
And that's the thing. Urban's going to look at the end of the year too, and if he believes he can't do it, you got USC and LSU out there, which are two. Not a lot of times, Coach, these really big time college jobs come open. Right. And if Urban wants to keep coaching, which, he pissed off Florida when he went to Ohio State. Ohio State's not going to be happy if he goes to LSU or USC, when he said, this is Urban Meyer. This is what he does. And I think he fits more for the college game.
I agree with that. And here, I'll tell you what, though, and I'm just saying this because I just think it would be great. Ed Orgeron, the next New York Giants head coach, just to listen to the press conferences in New York would be the greatest thing since sliced bread. Honestly.
He got a roll deal. He got a roll deal, though. I understand they were 9-8, but last year, what's up, Angela? He got a roll deal, Coach.
Yeah, he did.
Last year.
But listen, no, he didn't, because let me tell you something, right?
Yeah, but last year
he's getting a buyout. His buyout's dollar for dollar. The guy's getting paid $17 million to walk out the door.
He won a national championship less than 2 years ago, Coach.
Right.
It's like, now look at Auburn. You went and you got rid of Gene, whatever his name was.
Gene Chizik. Yeah.
Yeah, right. But what have they done since he's been gone? Right. Sometimes it can be a panic move, and those kids like playing for Ed Orgeron.
Because he is LSU. He's a hometown guy. He's that guy, and I think it was a mistake by LSU.
Look, man, coaching in the SEC is not an easy task. It's
absolutely, and you got a lot of money, a lot of boosters, a lot of money, and they hit the panic button. The schools get nervous because that's how they get to afford all these big contracts.
Coach, look at all the coaches in the SEC too. Urban Meyer, excuse me. Your boy Lane Kiffin's got Ole Miss starting to really come up. You got Florida, who's really good, and then I haven't brought up Alabama, Georgia, LSU, and you're going to have Oklahoma and Texas coming in. Is it next year or the year after?
I think it's the year after.
Right. These are legitimate teams. And, look, and that's what makes me wonder about Clemson, Coach, if they make a move because, the ACC is just weak. And
but I you know what, it's the same thing with the USC job because it's weak, it's easy to win, and you're track, you get your wins and you're in. You know what I'm saying? The problem is when you get a loss like Clemson, gets knocked off twice, then you're in trouble. You have no way of coming back from that because of your strength of schedule. So.
Anthony, I haven't heard about that. But if I was Bieniemy,
I think he's staying in the league.
He's close to an NFL job.
If anywhere he would go to college, he was talked about at Colorado because that's his alma mater.
Right.
But I just think he's more of an NFL guy. I don't see him leaving to go to college. Because he's an NFL guy. You know, and you know, you've got to look at one of the guys who have ties. The offensive coordinator for Carolina. You know, those guys. Matt Rule is another. He's a college guy. Maybe he thinks this isn't it for him. I could see him going back to college, you know, but
I think now he's starting to wonder if Sam Darnold's there for him. I know, Coach, you want it, but he's really struggled.
Yeah, but you know what it is, though? I mean, like anybody, you know, that running game, you look how important that running game is to a guy like Darnold. And there was, I'm not going to deny that. There was a lot of mistakes, but you know, again, when you don't have a running game, I think you're used to doing so much, and part of that is the Jets disease. You know, you were in the Jets organization, and you have that disease of having all this pressure to do everything, and you know, it's like being in quicksand. You know, I mean, everything you do is wrong. You start sinking quick, and you try to do more, and all you do is keep sinking. So hopefully he can rebound and pull himself out, man.
I thought the Raiders yesterday kind of rallied, you know, and came out and played pretty hard against a good Broncos defense. Now the offense is just Broncos offense is terrible. But,
I think you saw Teddy Bridgewater's true colors. I mean, he did, you know, you could see he's a placeholder. He is not a you know, a guy that's going to take you. You know, because
I thought it was a big game for Carr yesterday to, you know, play to that level. Look, they're 4-2. I mean, obviously it's going to be tough. They're going to be battling out with the Chiefs and the Chargers. But, you know, look, the next two games for the Raiders are the Eagles and the Giants.
Yeah.
They need to win both those games because then they got the gauntlet in the second half of the year going through that AFC West.
Angela, you still with us?
There it is. There you go, Raiders.
You coming to – the Eagles are in it's the Giants here. I forgot.
Right. That's right. But no, I think the Raiders need to win both those games, though, because you want to get to 6-2 and get ahead, obviously, because after that in the second half, they, you know, obviously got to play the Chargers again at the end of the year. They still got to play the Chiefs twice. But Raiders defense playing much better. Carr, you got to give Carr credit when it's due. He looked good yesterday. Yeah. Ruggs is starting to become a weapon for them. They actually ran the ball yesterday.
Nice catches. Ruggs made a couple of nice catches yesterday.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
And look, when you got a guy like that could take the top off over to the top of the field, you know how big it is, Coach, because those safeties don't creep up as much because you don't want, you know, Ruggs going over the top. So trust me, it changes how you play it. You play a team defensively. Big time. Yes. So good win for them yesterday. But you know, like I said, we got to see what happens. Yeah, no, I thought it was really good too, Angela. But, you know, the big thing for the Raiders is going to be the next two games because the Eagles and the Giants, if you're a playoff team,
you got to beat those teams.
You got to beat those teams. It was like I was going to say about the Raiders against the Bears. You got to, you know, okay, you know, everybody can have a bad loss every year. But now against the Eagles and the Giants, those are games you need to win. They're better than both of those teams. You need to go in, and the Raiders need to win those games and get to 6-2, and then see what happens and see if they can grab maybe a playoff spot this year.
Absolutely, I agree with that, man.
Yeah, because if you look too, the AFC East, it's Bills. I just don't think the Patriots have it. Miami doesn't. The Jets don't. The AFC North, you know, the Ravens, the Browns. I like them. Can they get healthy? Is the question.
Right? Can they rebound?
And then the AFC South. I think it's going to be one of those teams. They got a tough schedule, both those teams. I think it's going to be the Colts or the Titans. Mm-hmm. So then that could open the door for 2, maybe 3 teams out of that AFC West to get into the playoffs.
Yeah. I would agree. I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I think it's the West, you know, AFC and NFC, both the West where the team, you know, you're going to have a lot of playoff teams coming out of those two divisions.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got 2 4-2 teams, and the team that is considered the best team in the AFC West is in third place in the Chiefs.
Right.
I mean, and the Chiefs, look, they're still the third favorite to win the Super Bowl. So they're still well respected. Whether they can put it together here in the second half, we'll see. I still think with Mahomes, though, the Chiefs are still formidable, and I think the Chiefs will still make the playoffs.
Right. Now, let's get into tonight. What do you like tonight?
I like the Bills. I wouldn't lay 6. I hate to, I bet the Bills in a tease with Steelers. That's a lot of points. I could definitely see, and that's what you got to understand. You could be up 13 points late and get a backdoor push,
Right.
And the Titans are a good team. What I would say is I like the over because I think the Bills are going to score and I think the Titans are going to score. That Titans, I think they are in last place right now.
You're right, Angela.
I think both teams are going to score, but I think the difference in the game is going to be the Bills have a defense, the Titans don't. So I like the Bills to win. I don't know about cover. 6 points is a lot of points when you got two good football teams, especially you got a team going on the road on Monday night with the Bills. So that's tough.
I can see Tennessee just pounding the rock, chewing up a lot of time, keeping the ball away from the Bills offense and just really, and that turned into being a low scoring
100% what they're going to do. I don't know about low scoring, Coach, because and that was the Bills' weakness too, was the run defense. Now they've done better this year. We'll see. I agree, Stiz. Do you see the over-under, Stiz? I was looking at Stephon Diggs for tonight because I agree with you 100%, especially against the Titans. I think the over-under when I saw it was like 87.5, Stiz. I'm thinking about taking the over still because I agree with you 100%. He is due for a monster game, and I hope he does for you because Stiz picked him up in fantasy football.
All right.
You want to do a little baseball quick?
Yeah, but first, listen, I just want to let my Giants fans know I'll get into it. I need to digest the garbage that we saw yesterday. That's why I've kind of been avoiding talking about the Giants tonight. So a little bit, but not as much as I'd like to get into a lot of things. So, Thursday is, my day to go over that. So I just wanted to throw that out there for my folks.
Yeah, that's his Thursday, his therapy day.
Thursday's therapy for me. Yeah, we'll do that, So we'll see,
So obviously Braves up 2-0. If you remember, I think they can thank the Giants a lot for it because I think the Giants took so much out of the Dodgers. Game 1, you had to start a reliever. Scherzer struggled last night because obviously they needed him to pitch in relief in Game 5. I got a ticket on the Braves to win the World Series, so I'm hoping they can keep it up because I really believe if the Braves somehow can hold on here, obviously up 2-0 and win this series. I think they got a really good shot to win it all because I do like Boston and Houston, love the offenses, but there's not much pitching there. And Houston just lost their ace in McCullers. Not sure if he's going to be able to pitch in the World Series. And Boston – Sale kind of came back late. I do like Eovaldi, but other than that, not much good, not real good.
Eovaldi, former Yankee, by the way. I just thought I'd throw that out there. The Yankees thought he was done after the second Tommy John, but obviously, but anyway.
Yeah, but Boston knocking the sock out of the ball. Kiki Hernandez, 5 home runs this postseason. That's another thing I'll give out tonight. I like Houston tonight. I like the Astros tonight, even though they're on the road. I like the pitching matchup more for them. So I like the Astros tonight.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. You got anything else for us?
Nah, I'm good.
All right, everyone. We're going to cut it a little short tonight. I'm having a couple of technical difficulties on my end. So I appreciate everybody jumping in. Please, like the page, share it with your friends, go jump over to YouTube, like it there, ring the bell. And like I said, share it out with your friends. We really appreciate the help. And be safe. Enjoy the game tonight. And we'll see everybody Thursday night, same time, same channel. So we appreciate you. Have fun. Thanks.